I saw a meme that said, "Stop saying you can't. Start saying you can." And on the surface, it sounds strong, clean, decisive. Just flip the sentence and everything changes. But the more I sat with it, the more it felt incomplete. Because, let's be honest here, if it were that simple, we'd all be unstoppable. We'd wake up, declare, "I can," and just get on with it. But mindset doesn't flip like a light switch. It doesn't respond to slogans. Most of the time when someone says, "I can't," they're not being negative. They're being protective. "I can't" usually has history behind it. It comes from trying and failing, from embarrassment, from being told no, from evidence. Because you see, your brain keeps score. It remembers the moments that hurt, the pain. And the strange thing about pain is, we don't actually remember the pain itself very well. Not the physical sensation, at least. What we remember is the story around it. The embarrassment, the frustration, how it made us feel in that moment. Your brain stores that feeling like a warning label. So, the next time you approach something similar, it steps in early. It hesitates, but not because it's trying to sabotage you. Instead, because, well, it thinks it's protecting you. And protection can look a lot like limitation. But you need to understand that it isn't that it wants you to fail. It's trying to protect you from repeating pain. Your brain is just kind of doing its job. The problem is, protection and limitation can look very similar. So when a meme says, "Just start saying you can," it skips a few important steps. Because your brain doesn't believe declarations. It believes experience. You can repeat "I can" as many times as you like, but if your internal record says otherwise, then your body won't buy it. You'll hesitate and delay and overthink. Because like I said earlier, your brain is trying to prevent more pain. And that's where I think the meme needs expanding. Perhaps it's not about jumping from "I can't" to "I can." Maybe it's about figuring out how. Like, how do you build belief? How do you make "I can" feel real instead of, well, forced? If you've ever driven a stick shift, you don't go from first gear straight into fifth. You build the revs, shift into second, build again, shift into third. By the time you're in fourth or fifth, well, it feels smoother. Not because you declared it, but because you built momentum. Confidence works more like that. You don't go from doubt to certainty in one jump. You go from "I can't" to "maybe I can try." From "maybe I can try" to "that wasn't as bad as I thought." From there, you build evidence, small wins, tiny risks, repeated attempts. And once your brain has enough proof, "I can" stops feeling like a motivational line. It feels earned. And this is where I think a lot of people get stuck. Because when a meme tells you to just start saying "I can," it makes it sound like confidence is a personality trait. Like some people simply have it, and others don't. But when you look closely, confidence usually isn't personality. It's familiarity. It's built from repetition, from surviving those things that used to feel uncomfortable. Think about anything you do now without thinking. Like anything. Like driving, talking to people, making decisions. At some point, all of those things felt uncertain. You hesitated. And through that hesitation, you probably made mistakes. I'm gonna guess several. But after enough repetition, your brain stopped treating those things like threats. They became normal. And that's what confidence actually is. Normalized discomfort. Not the absence of doubt. Just evidence that you've been here before. There's a difference between forcing belief and building it. The internet loves the first one. Because slogans are simple. They fit inside a square image. They travel fast. They sound powerful. But the real process, the awkward, slow, repetitive part, that doesn't make a very good meme. Real life usually requires building belief. That doesn't mean the meme is wrong. It just means it's missing the process. You don't become confident by talking yourself into it. You become confident by doing something slightly uncomfortable and surviving it. Then doing it again. Then again. Momentum builds quietly. Not dramatically. And eventually, one day, you realize something. You're not saying, "I can," to convince yourself anymore. You're saying it because you've got evidence, because you tried, because you hesitated and did it anyway, because you got things wrong and survived it. And the strange thing about belief is it rarely changes in the moment you decide. It changes after the repetition, after the awkward attempts, after the small wins nobody else even notices, long after the work has already started. So, instead of telling ourselves to stop saying, "I can't," the better slogan is more of a question. And that question is, what's the smallest gear I can shift into right now? Not the perfect move or confident move, just the next one. What's the smallest win I can build? Because once the engine is moving, shifting gets easier. Momentum doesn't feel dramatic when it starts. It feels small, almost pointless. Until one day you look back and realize you're not where you used to be. And that's when "I can" stops being a slogan. That's when you've proved it to yourself. And maybe that's all confidence ever really is. Evidence. Built slowly over time.